Free socks. Free socks.
Welcome, everybody, to a Thursday night edition of the Triple B Experience. I'm your host, Bubba Brewer. We're a little 10 minutes late, but we were talking in the back room and stuff that we can't put out to the masses because it might get me in trouble, but hey, who cares? But anyway, we have an exciting show tonight. I have a couple guests. We were going to talk about one topic because it's going to be summertime. So we are going to give our 2025 summer movies that we want to go see. And there's not many of them in my category, but I'll try to pull out 3 to 5 of if I can. And also the latest episode of Daredevil and talk about the big Pat McAfee shenanigans last night and maybe some other stuff in pulp culture that's out there. But first and foremost, it's I got a couple guests tonight. And as always, I'm going to introduce him. And first and foremost is the co-host of West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia. He's got to get a female co-host till it gets started, but he's in the Docking Bay. And also, he is my co-host for Steelers Dynasty Podcast. It's everybody's special field correspondent, Shane Stodmiller. Shane, how you doing?
Good, Bubba. Just can't wait for the show. This has been a heck of a week. We were on for 4 hours last night. We had 29 people live, and they hung with us for the whole time.
It was crazy, and we'll talk about that here momentarily.
Yep.
But I want to say, and thank you to everybody that watched last night. Over 800 views, and we got 352 subscribers on the Steelers Dynasty Podcast. So it's a slow process, but we're going strong. So also, ladies and gentlemen, we've been having him on a last couple weeks because his pulp culture knowledge is unparalleled. He has the best backdrop of anybody, and now maybe I get a little bit of cash in my pocket. I can give him a little run for my money, getting some figures because they're not cheap. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show as always is our friend, Cable. Cable, how you doing?
Hey guys, good. Thanks for having me back again.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And you do have a backdrop that is very, very good and probably very, very expensive in the same instance.
Yeah, I switched it up last week. I don't know if anybody noticed. I did it in the other corner, which is a different set of colors. I got a couple more corners that I haven't shown off yet, so maybe we'll work into those.
And that is two sides of your of that room is just two sides.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just
all 4 walls are different color schemes, and then the one wall has 2 different color schemes in it. So
okay. Unreal. So before we get started, last night, like we said, we did 4 hours on the other channel. I don't know if you caught that, Cable, the Pat McAfee big, huge Pittsburgh thing. I thought a couple weeks ago that it was going to be where Aaron Rodgers stated that he was going to be a Steeler. That was not the case last week.
Yeah, I did not catch that. So was it kind of just like a variety show then, essentially?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a variety show where he had TED Talk for like 40 minutes. So me, Shane, and then it was Mark from Steelers Nation Australia. All 3 of us were watching this live. And he talked, and then he brought Jelly Roll to sing Renegade. So Jelly Roll showed up. So me and Shane are like, oh, my God, Jelly Roll. And then he went to this guy who was a mentalist who spent 25 minutes calculating numbers on their phone just to get the word Steelers upside down and turned it right upside so they could put out Steelers on a piece of paper. That was terrible. That lost my interest.
Yeah.
And then which I thought was crazy, they brought, Jey Uso down. He did his eat thing or whatever because next week is, WrestleMania, which if you're Yeah, if you're available next Friday night, we're going to do a pay-per-view pick. We'll see.
I think I will make it to that.
Kal-El will probably be 9-9 for that, probably for 2 days, probably because the kid studies WWE, like nothing else. So, and then what else, Shane? There was what?
Well, the Mentalist was terrible, so we're looking good with Jelly Roll.
He lost more weight.
They did sumo. I did see that.
Sumo.
Because they called a wrestling ring because they had to tear it down, so the sumo was probably just No,
they had Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg.
Both getting high.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sounds like you guys had a good show out of it.
Well, he gave away a shitload of money. That was crazy. It was like Plinko, but he gave away $100 grand. Then Ben Roethlisberger threw a football through like a little 10-foot circle, and because he did that, he gave away another $2 million at the end.
And Paul Skeens couldn't get the ball. He didn't throw the ball. He was the only one. Sid Crosby threw it.
Crosby got it in there.
Okay.
With ease.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But they had like 12,000 people.
Maybe Crosby could come in as quarterback for you guys this year.
Oh, what a drama. What an effing drama. It is. I'm done with the Aaron Rodgers drama. I was talking to myself in my car today, and I'm like, all Mason Rudolph. And I think I might do a video about it for my other show later on about how I'm thinking Mason Rudolph is going to be the quarterback.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
Well, Shedeur Sanders, I mean, if they pick him up, that's what I saw in the latest Mel Kiper mock draft.
Oh, that guy's just as bad as Burns. I know. I don't know. But I mean, I'm glad we got to watch it on TV instead of going down there because it wasn't over until like 12 o'clock.
No, it'd have been too late getting back. So I'm caught up this week. Unlike last week, I watched everything and I'm caught up on Daredevil, so you don't have to church it up for me.
Okay. Well, you know what? Since you just grabbed that baton, we'll start right into it. What did you each think of this episode 8?
I was hoping the girlfriend would die because she's a real pain in the ass.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel, Shane.
That's it.
Wow. Okay.
What'd you think of last week's episode, I guess, before maybe even?
Well, Kingpin came out in that white suit, which is pretty much like a comic book, just classic Kingpin, I think, and it looked great. I wish he would have had a black bow tie, though. He had a white bow tie. Mm-hmm. But, I thought that was good, and I think it's really picking up. And the fact that he smashed his head down, I thought, Bullseye, when he smashed his head down, I thought, oh, man, he's just pissed. No, he was getting him out.
No, I don't think he was. I don't know. I don't think he was. I think it was the rage of him fucking killing Foggy, and he bashed his head, but he didn't realize after he bashed his head that he would have the opportunity to escape. I don't think. And I think Bullseye had, now Cable, you could agree or disagree. That was his option, and that was his way of getting out.
Yeah, I don't think Matt knew that was going to happen. I think Matt was frustrated and lashed out. But yeah, I think that was all on Bullseye.
And I hopefully
Bullseye got out was fantastic. He's like,
that was good.
God,
that's how he got out. That's comic book accurate, where he was in jail and he used his tooth and he broke his tooth and he killed. Now I just know it's comic accurate. I don't know the whole logistics if he killed the guard, but I mean he killed that guard on the show, but it was sort of like that in the comic books. So they're trying to intertwine the comic books in the MCU show kind of hand in hand. But like when me and Cable were talking, before we got started was, and he's going to probably elaborate a little bit more on his take of this whole TV show. They fired the first writers and then they hired the old writers from Netflix this episode 8 is the second episode of the Netflix writers. The first episode was Netflix. Everything else was the writers that Fergie hired that he had to fire. That's why all these episodes aren't flowing. And then the next one, number 9, is going right in, and then next year because they're filming right now. Now, Cable had a different take on Daredevil, and it's probably a Shane take, probably sometimes too, because you guys think it's the same. So, what is your take on it? You were telling me.
Well, I think it should be called Matt Murdock Born Again. We've only seen Daredevil like 2 times in 8 episodes. Like I said before, I appreciate them diving into the character more. I don't want it to be a hollow show where you only see Daredevil kick ass for 8 episodes, 9 episodes. And I really enjoy the courtroom stuff, but I think there needs to be more of a balance, at least after he stopped fighting against being a vigilante. He tried to wash his hands of it, and then eventually he returned to his old ways. So have it be, not full on Daredevil from that point, but just there's not enough Daredevil for me. And I'm sure we'll see a ton of it next week in the finale, but it just not enough Daredevil. We waited years for this show to come back. We've seen Matt in Spider-Man: No Way Home. We saw a little bit of Daredevil and She-Hulk, and then they finally get the green light to.
I think we saw a little bit more Daredevil and She-Hulk than we wanted to.
Yeah, and a quick glimpse in Echo, but we finally get the green light. He's getting a revival, and it's just Matt Murdock through almost every episode. All the screen time. So I would have appreciated more of a blend, but we'll see how it sticks the landing next week.
Okay. Now, Shane, I know you don't like his love interest, and in the comic book, his love interest in the show gets killed in the comic book. She was a real bitch, real bitch in the comic book, and she got killed.
I thought that was going to happen when I was watching the last episode. I'm like, it's going to push him the whole way over the edge, and you're going to get Daredevil, like he's going to sleep in his outfit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's taking a shower and he still has his mask on, all that type of shit. But that didn't happen. But is Kingpin going to be kind of like, I owe you one, Matt Murdock, or is it going to get? I think what's going to happen is Kingpin is going to turn on his wife.
No, I can't, because we didn't even talk about that, because she's the one that put the hit out on Foggy in the first place, and that's when he found out, because he was playing detective, and that's when that's why he went to the thing and danced with her, because he knew, because he went to the bar that they drank, and the bartender, because a good bartender remembers everything if you're a good bartender, and Foggy didn't drink that drink because he was going to celebrate it, but he already drank it, so that means he already celebrated something. So I can't see them splitting, Shane. But that,
do you think
I don't
she
know.
called the hit on Kingpin? Because Bullseye was working for her.
Right, but he's hated Kingpin since the first Netflix show.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll split, because she was going to tell him something when they were dancing and she never got a chance to.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, especially when they tag up with the Punisher, and that's all I want to see anyway, is Daredevil and Punisher fucking knocking people down. I'm sure Cable and Shane, you're all in agreement with that one. That one's probably going to be the cat's meow.
Yeah.
But also, too, and they're filming season 2 as we speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see Daredevil, even Luke Cage, or Punisher and Luke Cage. I just want to see a couple of those Netflix characters, the old school guys from 6 years ago come over.
Okay, I'll go off on that, because I'll ask. So, starting with you, Shane, which Netflix character would you want to see right now that hasn't been in the show so far?
Well, Punisher's been in the show, so I would have to say Luke Cage.
Okay, Cable.
I agree, Luke Cage.
Okay, I because you guys took that one, I'm going to say Jessica Jones. And maybe all of us unanimously will not say the guy who played Iron Fist because he sucked.
Yeah. If you had a more comic accurate Iron Fist, the upside of that character is limitless. But
Yeah.
with what they did with him in his show and the Defenders, I don't have any interest.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed watching. I call it Iron Pinky, not quite a fist. But I enjoyed the show. That if you look past the casting, I enjoyed that. But
it could have been done a little bit better. The
I think
Iron
it
Fist, it was
a lot
getting
better.
good in a second. I thought the girls, Knight and Wing, were actually better. If they could bring those two characters back too, maybe as private eyes because they are in the comic book. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they can intertwine that because me and Cable also talk, Shane, like Kingpin cannot be in any MCU movies right now as we speak because of Sony, because Sony owns the rights to Kingpin.
Oh, because he was Spider-Man.
Right. He can do TV shows, but he can't do movies as of right now.
Which is interesting because these movie rights have been laid out with Sony for 20 years now or whatever, 30 years maybe even. But Kingpin was in the Daredevil Ben Affleck movie, so I wonder what they had to do to make that happen. Because I'm sure Kingpin wasn't a Sony property after that, so
yeah,
it's interesting.
And it's the same as like having the Hulk as a sole proprietor of a movie too. That's a universal thing.
Yeah.
And realistically, Sony should just give the rights over and let them do it right, or just be an associate producer of it so they can get some of the pie. Yeah. They don't need full pie, but I mean, by the time they sign it over, I'll be 80 years old. So,
and every villain and supporting character of Spider-Man will have had a movie that bombed.
Yeah, okay, I don't know though. Have you haven't not saw the Hunter yet? Craven the Hunter?
I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh wow. Okay, because I thought it was better than what I thought it would be. That's all.
The trailer, I enjoyed the trailer. I thought it looked like it had potential. Then I heard really bad reviews of it, and I think we talked on this last week. But just as putting my foot down, I'm not watching any more of the Sony spin-off movies. Okay. And it also pisses me off because Aaron Taylor Johnson played him, and they had him in it. They had the guy that played Lizard, and no, I'm sorry, that was Venom. Sorry, I'm getting my shitty Sony movies mixed up. But you got Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Craven, and he was Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. And I know he was only in the MCU for a hot minute, but you're still. So you're casting actors that were already in the MCU for other Marvel properties, so that pisses me off too.
So how do you feel about Chris Evans?
What do you mean with him being Captain America and Fantastic Human Torch?
Yeah. What's your feelings on that?
I mean, I'm okay with that because I think what he did with that Captain America character just is miles above Fantastic Four. And it came after, and to me, that Captain America role is going to be Chris Evans' defining role his entire life. He's never going to do anything to top that.
And he should realize that he's not going to get any better than where he was at. I know they don't want to do that because they got to be in physical shape and stuff like that. But like, if you are not doing anything and it's all about working and doing whatever, you're going to be cast typed. But if you're going to be cast typed as Captain America, why wouldn't you want to be that?
Yeah. What's that, Shane?
You're getting paid handsomely. This isn't like, like these guys that do a movie and then they have to do Comic-Cons the rest of their life to support themselves. This is like, generational wealth these guys are getting for these, Avenger roles, Captain America roles, like, come on.
Now that's the one side of the coin, or the Captain America shield. The other side is clearly Disney is interested in legacy characters and moving forward and trying to reset and moving with Sam and all these other legacy characters. So I don't know.
Cheaper, because it's cheaper.
Well, it's cheaper, but I absolutely love Chris Evans as Captain America, and I can't put a number on this, but at some point I'm going to get tired of Chris Evans as Captain America. There's only so many stories you could tell. We've seen him. He did 3 Captain America movies. He did 4 Avengers movies, and I loved it. I wasn't tired of it. But if they would keep doing that, just like RDJ is Iron Man, just like, at some point.
Oh, okay. Now I'm thinking. I'm sitting here thinking of. Now I got a question that I'll ask. I'll ask you on that because, you said after a while you'll get tired of the actors playing these certain characters, but being a comic book reader as you are, I mean, do you want Steve Rogers, the comic book character, to be Captain America the whole time for all these stories, or would you want Sam Wilson to come in and take over and be Captain America in the comic book world?
So, I would not make the change if I was able to. It would stay Steve Rogers forever. Okay. But if you can bring in a legacy character that's interesting, I'm for it as long as it works. Okay. And I think maybe the differentiation there is, comics are ageless. Movies, you got to sit through 2.5 hours. The actors are going to age. There's things that affect a movie that don't affect comics.
Okay.
Unless you're William Shatner. He's half vampire.
What about you, Shane? What do you think about that same question?
Well, I think of it differently. I think of like brake pads. You have like you measure them. You have half a life, or I think my Robert Downey Jr. character, because I don't have the reference for comics, but I think I'm about ready to change the pads, and I'm ready for. I could handle maybe one more movie with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Okay, moving him as Doctor Doom is going to be cool. Chris Evans. Man, there's a lot of life left on those pads. I want to see more Chris Evans. I can deal with a couple more movies because the cast of characters are with him. Like you think about Civil War, you think about Winter Soldier. It was almost he's the lead, but he's a supporting cast member because the way he intertwined with the story. You got Captain America and Winter Soldier. It's like a buddy type of thing, and then Civil War ties into he's the angst with Robert Downey Jr. So it's not like him on his own, like Madam Web, which was just hot garbage. I couldn't watch.
I've not watched it out.
Like,
I'm not. Yeah, I have never seen that, and I don't pay.
Marvel. It's just her. Those other characters aren't strong enough to make anything interesting. Where Captain America, he's just a great character. It's well written. It's played by a great actor, and I just like it so much more. Yeah, Winter Soldier is one. Daredevil, me too, right there.
Yeah, I think you picked that. We did that one time for the top 5. Yeah, and I don't know, Devil, about I heard this that Mr. Negative was going to be the villain in Spider-Man 4. And I heard it's going to be more street oriented, but I don't know how, because I live in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and they're not calling me on the phone and giving me rumors. But I hopefully they can hurry up and he's not going to be and I know I might have said this on the show. I'm not sure, but he's not going to, if he shows up, and I know you wanted to see him in the Doomsday movie. But when I saw this video and explaining why he didn't get it, I'd rather just save him for the next Avengers movie because nobody knows who he is, and he's all on a street level thing right now due to the fact that, you know what I mean?
We also don't know if he's not going to be in it because they said that they're not done with cast announcements either. So, because I'd be shocked if Benedict Cumberbatch isn't announced at some point. I
can see him getting it, but Holland, because nobody knows who the hell he is. I don't know, but I don't know.
Before we move on, I do want to maybe rehash something I said, I guess, or contextualize it differently. I think I could watch Chris Evans play Captain America forever as long as the movies were good. Kind of like what Shane said. Winter Soldier's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Civil War. But
I was just, I,
I think my
I was
thing
just,
is I don't.
that's funny.
Yeah, I just think I don't trust them to make that many good movies. I think that's the issue is without them going in a different direction. Uh,
What was the
Story-wise.
movie? What was the movie that made you not be so 100% into MCU like you used to be, Cable? What movie was it that has like, you know what?
What
It's
broke you,
not
Cable?
going to be an instant success.
I think it was Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
Yeah, I can't even put my finger on why, but when that movie came out, we were still in the old iteration of the channel, and we did a review of it at the movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And I just didn't walk out of it blown away. And for a movie that's supposed to explore the multiverse, and you're jumping back into the Doctor Strange world, and you're getting America Chavez for the first time, all these different things that should have really landed. That movie didn't do it for me, because we came out of quarantine and Black Widow came out, and that movie didn't blow me away, but I wasn't expected to be blown away by that. It was what it was. It was solid. Florence Pugh was amazing in that. I can watch that movie over and over again just because of her. And then
Yeah.
Shang-Chi was really cool. That was really fun. I like that. But also, a new character. It's not supposed to be this huge top tier MCU movie. Eternals came out. I really enjoyed Eternals. For me, I thought it was fun. I love history, so getting to see this movie that took place across different points in history was fun. Also, it was never going to be a top tier MCU movie. Spider-Man: No Way Home, home run, huge home run, knocked it out of the park. So then the next movie we get is Doctor Strange, and it's one of the bigger characters he's established. He was in Infinity War, Endgame, this and that. And it wasn't a home run. And then, the TV projects were kind of faltering around that point. Moon Knight was good, but it wasn't amazing. I liked it. I love Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Miss Marvel was what it was, didn't appeal to me. Then Thor: Love and Thunder, that one, I'm not going to say that one broke me because I was already starting to chip from the Doctor Strange. But Thor: Love and Thunder was an abomination. That one was where it finished me off. Maybe it was a 1-2 combo between those two movies.
Okay. Shane, what
Well, I
movie
think
made
Thor:
you?
Love and Thunder, I enjoyed it, but it left so much on the table because it could have been so good because it's one of the best characters. Like, how can you F that up? But for me,
It was the first fourth one.
What's that?
It was the first fourth movie we got for a single character. And
Right.
that's what they give us.
And that, I think that character is much like Captain America. I can watch him over and over, and I just like it. It's good. Now, with me, what pushed me over the edge was Eternals, okay, and Miss Marvel. It's kind of like I'm leaning there, but there's still hope. I'm just clinging on with I use one finger, another finger. She-Hulk freaking took 3 fingers off, and I just have a pinky. That's the way it is, and I just don't think that. I think Spider-Man: No Way Home kind of got me a grip again, where I'm actually like giving a shit.
Yeah.
And this Daredevil has pushed me back into actually fully 100% giving a shit for Marvel. And I don't have as much, vested in it. Like you guys have years and years of reading the comics and understand the characters and stories. Me, I'm just a lazy tard that likes to sit on the couch and watch freaking superheroes whoop each other's ass, because I didn't watch all those years. I didn't get comics or anything like that. Because Bubba, you went to the comic book store growing up, but I didn't have access to that. I think I had like one DC like binder that had like one of those where there's like 5 comics in one book, and that's what I would read.
Well, I mean, I was a little kid, and then I made my mom take me to the comic book store in Indiana.
Yeah.
And then I would go to the convenience, like any type of like mall and pop store
Andy's
had comic books on the rack. So I would get those. And then I would get comic books that didn't even have the covers on, and they were selling them back when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
And I just kept collecting. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, but it's a hobby that turned into not an investment, but for me, I think, and I'm going off of what you both said in different parts. I think the Eternals, for me, being a comic book guy, when it didn't get the story right, that turned me off. And them, using, and I'm a huge Dane Whitman fan, a huge Black Knight fan, in the comics, got his first appearance and all that. When they didn't use him to what I was upset about that, but what am I going to do? Take my ball and bat and go home? But I feel that Captain Marvel was not good. They were just doing too much. And Love and Thunder, like when he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy, that was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it left, when Star-Lord and the boys rolled out, the movie went to shit for me. Like, Gore the Guard Butcher, it was not. Yes, and Cable's shaking his head. Right, he knows where I'm going. He wasn't the character that he should have been, because in the comic books, he killed everybody, and it wasn't like that. And it just
it's such a waste of Christian Bale.
Yes,
and it just, so he, 2 strikes right there for different reasons with the Gore character.
Yeah, and what they did at the end of the Eternals with having Blade talk on the sword, and they're not doing anything with that, and that's been like 6 years now. I mean, who cares now? Because that's just, if I was that actor, I'd tell him to go get fucked. Like, you're just, you're rewriting scripts. It's not good. And you're having me in limbo. It's not what I want to do. And then you put Wesley Snipes in to a movie that brought everybody back to the MCU now. Like, everybody's, with, Daredevil and Wolverine. But also, too, the last Guardians got me. That was okay, too. And I was okay with Doc Strange, but I just thought it could have been a little better. And I thought they could have did the Illuminati a little more, but they didn't. Hopefully they will in these upcoming next Avenger movies. But I never thought any of these movies were ever going to get made in my entire life anyway. So,
do you think the ship's righted? Do you think that Marvel's in safe hands since Deadpool and Wolverine, since Daredevil's on Netflix? Or not Netflix, but Disney? Do you think the ship's somewhat righted?
A little bit.
Little bit.
They're not using the characters. Look, you got Moon Knight waiting in the wings. That could have been a little better. I liked it, but it could have been a little better. Daredevil right now is where after this last episode will be back to where it was. But I want to see how at the end of this year how Wonder Man is, because I'm a huge fucking Simon Williams fan. I want to see how that is. I mean, I know they didn't get the nationality right or whatever. Who cares? I don't care about that. I just want to make sure that they get his character good, and we'll see. And I'll have to wait till December to see that. But I'm okay, because we don't have content if they don't have stuff bringing out. So, and that's why we can say yay or nay. But right now with Daredevil, and we're going to go into the summer movies here very, very soon, and some of the stuff we have to wait on to see how they have grasped us back in, and that'll be the start. You know what I mean? That'll be the start.
I have almost I'm not going to say overwhelming and be super dramatic and stuff here, but in the back of my head, I have this feeling of dread that the next project is going to disappoint me, and the next project is going to disappoint me.
And I actually got on a TikTok debate, and this is funny because I know where you're going with this, and we'll just go right into this other topic. Okay. We're gonna pick. Hopefully, I can pick 3 summer movies that each one of us want to go to the movies and see. We might have the same ones. We might have different ones. If we can get 5, that's fine. I don't think I can, but I'm going to try. And it has to be movies that we have to pay a ticket and go into a movie theater, not a movie that we can see at the house. That doesn't count anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, something that appeals to you enough to go see it. Make an effort.
So that'll be, 3 to 5. So you guys can think a little bit, but oh shit, where was I going? Oh, because I'm going to start with, one of the movies that's going to be coming out sooner, because to me, that's in the summertime and it's going to start it all. And it could be on your list and it might not be on your list. It probably is. I'm going to guess some of these are probably all on our list, because I got into a debate with, I don't know if you know who this guy is, Shane, was the old millennial. He's on TikTok.
Okay.
The old millennial, he's a conservative, but he was talking about this, and I'm going to bring the caption in. Boom, right there. I'm going right into this. Okay, this is a movie I want to see.
Absolutely.
Okay. He says it's going to be a shit show and it's going to be bad. And I had to defend myself on his TikTok because he was talking about Century and blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to hand it off to you guys. This is one movie I do want to see, that I will spend money to go see. Being a comic book guy who's collected every single Thunderbolts appearance, it's not going to be like the comic book accuracy, but I never thought that it'd ever make a Thunderbolts movie. So I'll hand it off to you, Cable, and then you, Shane. And do you want to see this movie?
Yeah, I'll talk
Cable?
about it for a second, and then Cable, you can clean it up, because I might screw some things up. But Bubba, I need you to answer Gianni in the chat. So check it out, guys. This is the movie that I'm probably the most excited about. And
okay, thanks.
You have some bangers. You got Karate Kid Legends coming out. You got Dirty Dancing 2 if you're really like kind of nostalgic for some Patrick Swayze. Unless it's going to be, like AI generated Patrick Swayze, I'm not really going to care. But I'm going to watch it because I'm a pop culture whore. But Thunderbolts, it just looks so good from the preview. Now, can that just be everything that's great about the movies in the preview, and it's just going to be a big shit sandwich? I hope not. But I'm really excited about it. I don't want it to be disappointed. Cable, what do you think?
This is where he climbs up as the anchor to clean up. He's the cleanup guy right now.
Yeah, same as you guys. Very, very excited for this.
Are you? I was thinking you were going to go. I thought you were going to be like, Bubba, I'm going to be I'm very upset on how this is and blah, 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 blah. See, you surprised me, because I thought you were going to be like, I want to not this way.
No. Because I think definitely out of you and I'm a lot more flexible with the MCU changes and things like that. Some really bother me, but you're much more well-read in comics than I am. You've been reading them, collecting them longer. And the way I view it, and like the guy you were talking to, I think I would not get along with, perhaps, or I don't agree with his viewpoint. I just view the MCU as its own universe. Like, that and the comic universe are just variants of each other. So I don't want to see the exact stories from the comics. Now, I don't want to see an abomination, pun intended, of a character where they completely gut it and make it something it's not. I don't like that, but I don't need it to be a one-for-one from the comics to the movies either. So I'm a little bit forgiving there. But I think Thunderbolts looks so much fun. I'm very excited for it. More so than not, I'm really happy about the cast.
Well, let me ask your take on Century, because when I got into this argument with him, he was like, Century's the most powerful, blah, 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 blah. They have no chance of actually defeating him. And then I had to fucking put my spin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know, and that he's the Void when he shows up. But, in my mind...
He's not wrong. Who they have on this Thunderbolts team really probably shouldn't stand a chance against the Century. I don't know.
But who would?
Right, exactly. I mean, you'd have to go to somebody like the Phoenix or one of the, Captain Marvel, one of those
Right.
elite top tier. But they're going to do what the MCU does. Sam Wilson should have stood no chance against Red Hulk, but he took him down.
Right.
And then he talked them down with the power of love or whatever.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Yes.
Right, but that's what the MCU does, and I can give it a little bit of leeway plot wise for certain things as long as the movie overall entertains me, and I think that's what's going to do.
Okay, so out of this one movie I just put out there for the summer blockbusters, because I feel it'll be a blockbuster. We're all in agreement, but that's a thumbs up. Like now we're fucking Siskel and Ebert. Because remember when summer hits, where you know what I mean, you can't wait. Like even if it was like Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, or Batman, like you're pumped up. So okay, now I'm gonna go with the ones that I know that I want to go see, and then I'll do the same thing. And if you guys want to see it, which is probably going to be a yeah, but this one here is going to be before. This is in July, and I'm going to go with some other movies later on. But these are the 4 movies that I have graphics for, so that's why I'm doing it. Now I don't know about this one.
That's not where I expected you to go with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like the Jurassic Park franchise. Tammy loves the Jurassic Park franchise. But when they were like, going in the city and fucking hanging out and driving taxis and shit, I was like, oh, this is a little too much. But I think they're going to go back to their roots. Now, I would say I'm not going to be overly bummed out if I don't go to the movie theater to see this, but also too, you want to see Jurassic Park in a big screen. So I would say, it's not one of my tops, but I would say, yeah, if I had an opportunity to go see Jurassic Park, this new one, because it has Scarlett Johansson, I probably would go.
I'm going to go a different direction with you, Bubba.
Okay.
This weekend, the past weekend, the drive-in theater opened. Okay, so
okay. Oh wow, that's early.
That's early, yeah.
Yeah, April 1st. That to me is a 4th of July weekend drive-in movie. I'm not going to see it because if it's a Marvel movie, I want to watch it in a regular theater.
Okay.
But, Jurassic Park, I can just sit there, give 2 shits. It is what it is. If the dinosaurs suck, I don't care. I'm going to watch it. It's like,
well, dinosaurs don't really suck because they brought back 2 wolves. So eventually this shit's going to be real pretty soon.
Right.
And I'm going to be mowing my grass and a fucking pterodactyl is going to come down and pick my fucking Dago ass up and carry me away.
Like Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
You'll see Chuck in the woods.
So you would rather see Jurassic Park at the drive-ins?
Yeah, that's a drive-in movie.
Okay.
Because it's not
I didn't even think of that category. Shit.
What's that?
I didn't even think of the drive-in category. I just thought of
I think that makes it fall into the category of not a necessity to see. I think that leans towards that then, potentially.
It scores points for being drive-ins, like same with Dirty Dancing 2. If it's playing the drive-in as a second movie, I'm gonna stay and watch it,
No, I'm rolling the fuck out. I'm rolling out.
You gotta get some Tammy points, bud.
I don't know about that. Patrick Swayze's long gone. So Cable, would you you and Jeremy take some money and hey, let's go. You would go to the movies to see this?
Yeah,
this ain't your top 5. This is my movies that I know because I don't know of too many more movies out there.
And I see a lot of movies, so it takes less to get me into a theater than it may you guys. But Jeremy's a big fan of the Jurassic World movies. Obviously a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies. I was a '90s kid. That was when dinosaurs had their big surge. So this franchise will always be important to me. Varying quality throughout the movies for sure, but doesn't, I will give it a shot. Like you said, Scarlett Johansson's in it. Mahershala Ali is in it. Blade. Which
he's got to be in something though, because he's been waiting for fucking Blade for 5 years.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was in this movie. So maybe he's just trying to get a paycheck while he's waiting for the Blade movie to roll out. But yeah, I'm going to go to the theaters to see it. It's not top of my list, but working off of your list, yeah, I have interest.
This is my list, and then you guys will have your own and some of the movies that I have, you probably want to see too. But because I don't. And then this one here, definitely, this is probably a 3. All 3 of us, definitely, I want to see this in movie theaters. That's a definite. That's a no-brainer. I'm sure that's pretty much unanimous. I'm guessing it's probably on your list. Is that on your list, Shane?
I don't know. That's the fence. That's on the fence. I might watch it in drive-in or at the theater. I don't know, but
you must like drive-ins though.
It's 3 miles from a house.
Oh, okay.
Who doesn't? Drive-ins are awesome.
It's
okay. So
for $8, and they have like really good food.
Okay. Well, I guess the food's the kicker. So, okay, you'll definitely go see Superman. No, would this make your list? Would this make your list if it was one of your top 5 movies?
Superman's on my list. Everything you've said so far, there's probably about 8 movies I'll try to see this summer. Those
okay.
You got more than me. People got more than me. Now,
I don't want to hijack this. But can we maybe look at this through a different lens?
Go ahead.
I know we're already a couple movies in. What if you can only see 3 movies of the blockbuster season? That raises the stakes a little bit. You can only see 3. Is Superman one of those 3?
For me, probably not.
Okay. Well, see, for me, it would be every single superhero movie would be the top 3. Jurassic Park would not be top 3, but my wife would divorce me. So that would be it. But if you would do that, you would change the stakes up, Cable. Like Superman and Thunderbolts is 2 of my movies out of 3 that I would actually have to go see if it's 3 movies. And then what about you? Would it be one of your movies?
It's razor wire thin.
Wow. I thought you would have definitely said, yeah, Bob.
No. Yeah, I didn't. You didn't. Hold on. You didn't hear me out.
Okay.
For this or Fantastic Four being my most anticipated movie of the year, which if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, does DC even stand a chance over a Marvel movie? I said, no way. But now, James Gunn has this movie looking so good. That new sneak peek they showed 2 weeks ago at CinemaCon, I absolutely cannot wait to see this movie. And it's like each little tidbit that comes out about Superman or the Fantastic Four nudges it ahead of the other one. So it's neck and neck for me between those 2 movies.
Okay.
It's not even close. I would pick Superman over Fantastic Four. You're going to hate me, guys, kick me off the show, but I give 2 shits about this Fantastic Four movie. I'm going to watch it.
I'm not going to kick you off the show.
I don't have the nostalgic, warm feelings about it. I've seen so many shitty Fantastic Four movies. Do I want to watch a 3rd one? No.
But it won't be shitty. This is not going to be shitty.
I hope not.
If you look far enough on YouTube, this could be the 4th Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. And I'll just throw it out there right now because that was my next movie. So boom. So we're going right into it. And if I had the option, like you just stated, Cable, Fantastic Four or Superman, I know I have my top 3 movies, but if I only have one movie that I can see all summer, it might be the Thunderbolts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it might be the Thunderbolts because it's so not what it is, and I don't know what's going to happen, even though everybody's going to be on Doomsday movie, just because I never thought that they would have this movie. I always thought that they were going to redo Fantastic Four. Always going to thought they were going to do Superman, for God's sakes. I mean, that was coming, but not Thunderbolts. So, I mean, it's a thin razor wire also. If I have to have one movie to go see, and those are my top 3 movies, I might have one more, and that's it for the whole summer. But the Jurassic Park might be 5 due to the fact Tammy wants to go see it. I could live without it. I could watch it at home. But it would be Thunderbolts by a razor, but it would be Fantastic Four over Superman because I'm a Marvel guy. But I do like DC. I'm not, and I think James Gunn is going to do phenomenal, and he's going to be great, but he's still got a long way to go to upset the king. It's not the MCU is like fucking Mike Tyson in his heyday. Now DC could be Buster Douglas in that one punch and knocks out Tyson. It could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in July.
I haven't seen anything from James Gunn, even just strictly DC, that hasn't been good. Peacemaker's good. Creature Commandos is good. Superman looks good. The Suicide Squad movie that he did was great. So, he's on a roll with DC. Keep it going.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, everybody's got some. There's 1, 2.
Yeah, but Badlands Predator comes out in November. I would put on my list.
Avatar 3's in December, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that Predator show, yeah. Is that animated?
That's an animated one.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm just trying to get all the comments in here before. I would never see that 412. Minecraft is not a movie that I ever want to see.
Here's the thing. My kid thought it was going to be a shit sandwich, and he said it was actually entertaining, and it kind of was fun,
Okay.
When you go in with such a low bar, that's, but you look at the Sonic movies are really good. That animated Super Mario Brothers movie was really, really good. So
never seen it. I saw Wreck-It Ralph. That was it. And I didn't know they were doing a Heat 2.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So, and the Blade reboot will never happen. So I'm just getting everybody's. Yeah, the original's good. I'm just trying everybody's. That's not even anywhere near. I have no idea, and I have to take the baton and go with. I'm going to go with Shane. Shane, what are your movies that you want to go see? Because besides the new Naked Gun, I'm fucking done.
I'm going to throw you one that you guys are just going to be like, what the F? Karate Kid Legends.
I'm not going to movie theaters yet.
I mean, it's nostalgic. It's either going to be so good it's terrible, or so terrible it's good. But that's one I want to. My kids like Karate Kid. But we'll go see it. It'll be a nice time at the theater. That's what I'm looking forward to. Thunderbolts is number one.
Okay, you got Thunderbolts. You got Karate Kid. What else?
And then Mission Impossible is kind of like on the list.
But on your list, if you can get 5. You said you had 8.
Yeah, and then 28 years later, it's the follow-on to 28 days. Remember?
Okay.
Yeah, hiccup. Holy shit.
It's okay.
So those are mine.
Those are yours. Thunderbolts. I'm trying to get it. Karate Kid.
Mission Impossible.
And 28 years later.
28 years later.
Those are the 4 movies that you'll absolutely have to go to the movie theaters or drive-ins to go see.
Right. And then Superman's like probably 5th. I'll go see it because I'm that guy. But
okay. Well, 412 said Mission Impossible and the AC/DC concert. So that's two events in a month. I've seen AC/DC 5 times, and I just want to remember them the way they were, I guess.
We're getting too old.
Because I seen GNR and Motley Crue, and I just want to remember and how good they were when they were good back then.
Why was GNR bad?
GNR was terrible. Slash was great. And I tell you what, Def Leppard was very, very good. Poison, but Vince Neil was just god awful now. And it was after COVID, and it wasn't worth it. So, okay, Cable, your 5 movies that you have to spend your money to go see. But you said you had a lot.
Yeah, I'll shorten up the list. Right off the bat, superhero movies are automatic. So Fantastic Four, First Step, Superman, Thunderbolts, those are top of the list.
Okay.
Because
I've given you 5, but I'll give you a couple more after that. Like your top 5, you have to reach down in your wallet and it's like, hey, we got to go to the movies. 5.
Okay, if you want to do kind of an honorable mention, I guess, then since we already talked about it, Jurassic World Rebirth, that's going to be one. But the couple I want to touch on, that we really haven't talked about. One I haven't even seen in the comments yet, which I'm kind of surprised. But after the superhero movies is absolutely Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I cannot wait for that movie.
Okay, yeah. 412 said that too. So
Mhm.
not being a Tom Cruise fan, never. I saw the first one in theaters.
That's on my list.
I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan.
But the new ones are so good, Molly. Just from a fun
I haven't seen
standpoint.
any of them.
Yeah.
I just saw, I think, the first two, and that was it.
It doesn't really matter. They're loosely connected until this last one, Dead Reckoning, came out. Then they kind of did, they tied some stuff back to the original. And it brought like an actor back that was in the original movie. But they kind of all can stand alone. And the stunt.
They bring John Voight back.
No. No. But, the stunts, the action, it's also good. It's just, they're a really fun time. So, that's on my list. It's kind of teased as this was probably Tom Cruise's last appearance. We'll see if that sticks. But, he gets hurt making these movies now. He's not getting any younger. It's finally starting to show.
I feel his pain.
And then the one that rounds out my list that I don't think I saw it in the comments. We haven't mentioned it. Shocked nobody's brought it up. Is the John Wick spinoff, Ballerina?
Nobody.
Very, very excited for that.
I know what you're talking about, but no one mentioned that. And for me, I never saw a John Wick movie in the theater.
Me neither.
We went and saw 4. We saw the last one. My son's a big fan of the series. So yeah, that's the first one we saw in theaters, and we're definitely going to see Ballerina when it comes out.
Well, I do like John Wick movies. I have them. I just never ever went to the movie theater to see them though.
Yeah.
I've ever saw a Keanu Reeves movie in a movie theater ever.
Not the Matrix? None of the Matrix movies?
No. Wait.
Wow.
Wait, the first Matrix I had to watch. I watched it on DVD, and I think okay, the second. I'm sorry, my bad, because I'm old and brain dead sometimes. I did see the second and third, but the first one I watched on DVD.
Bill and Ted I saw in the theater, and same with Point Break. So I'm guilty as charged.
Oh wait, he was in Point Break. I saw Point Break too. Okay,
that's fantastic.
Okay. I'll do it not full circle quite, but I saw Speed 2 Cruise Control. It's a drive-in, but that wasn't Keanu, and that was the drive-in. So
who was in that? Who was in that one?
Sandra Bullock. She came back, but I don't remember who the male lead was. I could see his face, but I don't.
Oh,
I can't pull who it is.
Okay. So your honorable mentions that you would go to the movie theater.
Graphic World. We talked about that, and then the other one that I'm very excited for it. I don't know that I would call it a blockbuster, but Shane mentioned it. It does come out in the summer. It's 28 years later. Really excited for that too.
I've never seen any of that either.
The first one, 28 Days Later, is like a modern horror masterpiece.
It's the GOAT of zombie movies.
Yeah, and the second one doesn't get nearly as much recognition, but it's a very solid movie also.
Yeah, those zombie movies mess me up. I mean, I do like The Walking Dead.
You'll love it.
Well, I don't know if this means anything to you, but the director is an Academy Award-winning director. He knows what he's doing.
Well, that means something. That means he done something. I mean, now when he won that award, what genre of movies did he have that he won?
Well, it was Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know if you've ever seen
I've heard of that movie. I've never seen it.
Yeah. He did that, and he did the Train Spotting movies, and he did Sunshine.
I've heard of them. Okay, I've heard of them. That means I'm not real culturally movie educated because I have never seen any of those ever.
Well, it's all on what your tastes are.
Yeah, well, my palate's for stuff. Okay, what other? Because you go to a lot of movies. What other movies did you think that you will be seeing in the summer? So maybe some people in the comments agree with you, or maybe they won't see it.
Well, pregame for the summer this weekend, we're going to see Warfare in IMAX.
What's that?
That is a true story about a event that happened, I believe, in Iraq in 2006, and it was co-written by one of the SEALs that actually was in the battle.
Oh, it's a military movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I did not know
And
that.
it is made. I don't know if you saw or heard of the movie Civil War that came out last year with Kirsten Dunst about reporters.
Yes. I've heard of that. I didn't
I
see
was
it.
thinking of watching it.
Very, very good. I recommend it. We went to see it in Civil War, or yeah, Civil. We went to see it in IMAX, and it kicked our ass. Like they engineered this for IMAX. Every round, you felt it in your chest. Like when stuff would blow up, it felt concussive. Like you felt, with that
Man,
IMAX
I don't need to
sound
go there. I'll be fucked up for a week.
and it's made by the same person and the same company, and so we're going to get our asses handed to us again in IMAX this weekend.
Okay. So, and any other movies that you can?
Uh,
Because you had a
the
few.
Accountant 2. Yeah, The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck and John
That's a
Bernthal.
good
Oh,
I
okay.
love that movie.
Okay. I
Excited
never
for that
saw the
one.
first one.
It's good. Oh, it's good.
I would see
there's
that at
that.
home. See, to me, I would watch that at home and enjoy it watching at home because those movies aren't going to make me want to go to the movie theater to see it because for me, and it's a shame. Like for me, it's Marvel or a DC superhero movies or Godzilla, which I didn't go see the last Godzilla. No, I did. I was like the only one in the movie theater. And King Kong and Star Wars. Those epic movies, I go to the movie theater.
I kind of have a built-in, I guess, ranking system because, like I said, that's my favorite thing to do to get out of the house is go to the movies. That's my favorite thing to go do.
Wait, what's this, Shane? What is this?
Your buddy from your favorite. What's your favorite?
Oh, is that Better Call Saul?
Yeah, the sequel.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Mr. Nobody.
No,
Nobody is the first one.
Oh, that fucking movie was good.
Yeah,
but I saw it at home. Like those movies, those action movies, I watch it. I don't know what it's just like watching it at home because it's not epic. But that was good. He kicked ass.
Yeah. But that's kind of like exactly like that point, like you're saying. I go to the movies at the drop of a hat, but there's certain movies that I will go to Pittsburgh at the waterfront to see, and potentially get IMAX tickets for. And then there's other ones that I'll just skip up to Indiana and see.
Skip up to the greatest movie theater in the fucking world.
Yeah, right. Your version of not good enough to go to the theaters is my version of I just go to Indiana for it.
So they haven't cleaned up that Indiana theater because the same people own the Butler one. The Butler one's remodeled.
It's better than it used to be. The seats are very comfortable. Actually, they have nice seats in there. I don't want to talk shit on it because it's not bad for what it is. I mean, prices aren't bad. Yeah,
I'll talk shit on Indiana for you. It's terrible. The popcorn tastes like paint. I still have when I tried to watch Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie, and I bought a ticket. They were gonna have my one seat, and then Tammy was going to sit 3 rows over and 10 rows down. And I was like, why do I want to sit not by my wife or my girlfriend? It was my fiance at the time. I go, that's stupid, Tammy. I took a shit fit in the movie. I go, fuck this, Tammy. We're not doing this. And then she's like, well, you know what? I can't go to Greensburg because she had to get up and go to work in the morning, and I didn't even care. So I took her home, and I went to whole way down to Greensburg to watch Spider-Man by myself because she couldn't, because she just couldn't do it because she had to get up early, and it was the late show. And every time Indiana, I see chalk outlines. The Batman, I saw chalk outlines of a dead fucking body. Look like I don't know with plastic over the chair. And like if I go, it's like Mondays was for. They can make it so much better, though. That's the thing. Like
it could be better.
And it's just those kids back there are not paying attention. And look, kids, get off your fucking phone and get my tickets. And if I want a Slurpee and a bag of M&Ms, give it to me because I'm paying for it, so I can go and sit down because I like to watch the previews.
Amen.
Sorry, that was my rant today.
I like to watch the previews, but they're not as special as they used to be with the internet and YouTube and stuff.
No, they're not.
Before that was the first time you heard of a lot of movies was when you went to see a movie and there was a trailer for it. And another thing that
too. Ready, guys. Back in my day, they didn't talk.
At least Fort Afton has to go for an hour. She's got an hour to go to her place.
I know, and everything's far in Kansas.
And it's an hour from us, Afton, in Indiana would be like Greensburg, a little further to go to a better movie theater. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to the waterfront for all the stuff that I'm really excited for, and that's about an hour 20.
I can't stand science. I just can't stand it. I just never. When we went down and saw that one movie where the baby, I don't know, was crying. I don't know. That one time we went cable. I was like, oh my God. And then we saw Captain America: Brave New World, and we were the oldest people in the movie theater. We were surrounded by Taylor Swifties and by jocks to the left of me, and terrible.
I had a couple bad experiences towards the end of the year there. I forget what the two movies we saw were. One of them was Nosferatu. We went and saw that, and people were just talking like crazy. And then it's a very art house style film, and there's a lot of quiet parts in it, things like that. It's very actor driven, so you can just hear these people talking the whole time. And I kind of chalked that up to that came out right around Christmas, so you probably have a lot of families that maybe don't see each other a lot, convening to go see a movie together.
Hang out at the family house. You got a family get together.
And then there was another movie we saw, and I was really frustrated, and I was kind of bitching to my son, and I was like, I don't know if movies are gonna be like this from now on. I don't know if I want to keep seeing them.
That's why you shut the door. One of my vehicles, there's so many speakers in that 4Runner. There's 6.5 speakers in the hatch, and there's 6.5 speakers in each one of the doors, and then there's 3.5-inch speakers in the front. It is so freaking loud. It vibrates the whole car, and it doesn't have a system or anything.
I remember going to drive through and charging $5 for a red cup, and then having a kegger in the back seat and making money. And now, is that the Nicolas Cage movie?
What's that?
Yeah,
160 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
Now what he's talking about with the movie experience. When we went to see Infinity War, of course the place is going fucking crazy. Like people are losing their minds. People are yelling. I love that atmosphere for that type of movie. Right. But when I go watch a vampire movie that's borderline art house movie, I don't want a bunch of commotion. I want people to shut the fuck up and let me hear the movie. And I'm so bad. You guys probably won't agree with me on this at all. I don't even like to eat during the movie. I don't get popcorn. I don't do the snacks. My son does. I just want to sit there and be focused on the movie. I don't want to hear my son snack wrappers crunching the whole time. I don't want to be chomping. And, whatever. If somebody gets popcorn in my group, I might have a little bit of it. But I won't myself usually buy any kind of concessions.
You're diehard.
I'm dialed in. I'm there for the movie.
I'm not spending $8 for a bag of Twizzlers either. So back in the day, in Kmart at the Indiana Mall, I'd go buy a bag and put them in my hoodie and pocket in there.
Yeah.
Here I go.
And so what Shane's been saying, he's been flying that drive-in flag pretty hard. I grew up loving the drive-ins, and
me too.
My standing, whatever you want to call it, rule was I used to never see movies for the first time at the drive-ins because quality wasn't great. That's just it's not how I wanted to enjoy that experience.
Right.
But now they have a digital projector, so I don't know. I haven't been there in a while, so there might not be much of a difference.
I'd like to go to. I do like to go. It all depends on what kind of movies they're in. You know what I mean? But
and I don't have a truck anymore. To me, that's the ultimate is when you have a truck and you can just lay in the bed, throw a couple sleeping bags in the bed
or some chairs, take some chairs out, but then you got to listen to the radio of the little speaker or keep your car running the whole time.
Everything's through FM now, so you can either
take a Google, but you got to have your car running, right?
What's that?
Got to have your car running.
usually with my 400, I don't have to have it running. I just turn it on between movies for about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Charge it up. Okay.
I think I'm allowed back to the drive-ins now, so I might go.
Wait, tell us this story before we get out of here. What the hell did you do?
I didn't do anything. There was just a big commotion the last time I went because I just bought a car that I wasn't used to, and it was 2017. I believe the movies were Guardians of the Galaxy and the Tom Cruise Mummy. And we're watching the Mummy, and it was my son's first time at the drive-ins. And in the middle of the movie, he wanted to go get popcorn, and I didn't know how to turn off my automatic lights. So we get back in the car, and the lights are just on for like, I don't know, it felt like an eternity. And people were honking their horns.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I'm going, I can't turn them off, they're automatic, and the people came and talked to me, and they threatened, they said, if you can't fix this, you're going to have to leave. And I was like, I don't know what to do. They're automatic. And then because I put the window down to talk to the guy, I kind of like reset it. So then they're on. It felt like an eternity. Even people that it wasn't, like people behind me were honking, and that's not really even affecting them. And yeah, it was a whole ordeal. And then my son, because at that time he was pretty young, he ended up getting too scared to finish that movie, so he didn't even stick around for a full movie.
Oh my gosh, that is classic drive-in story there. Wow. I was thinking something else. I thought it was like when you were younger and something happened because you're hanging out with somebody. Wow.
No.
I've helped people turn their light off before, like it was in front of me. That happened to someone in front of me one time.
I wouldn't know how to do my Bronco. I don't know how to shut the damn stuff off.
The newer
I have
cars
to wait.
are kind of weird like that. You kind of you have to like.
Yeah, you really got to check stuff out. And I've had a couple vehicles since then, and I always find out how to turn my lights off because that is so burned into my brain now. Even though I have no plans of doing anytime soon.
It's funny. Oh my God! People beeping a horn. Hey, shut the goddamn light off! Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
I'm trying.
Me and my 6-year-old son are getting screamed at.
Oh my God! Especially in Indiana.
Yep.
Yeah. A bunch of goofballs up there. Yeah, I like that. Afton, I like that Brendan Fraser Mummy series too. And I always like Brendan Fraser as an actor. I think he.
Yeah. I was really happy for him when he won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
And funny, me and Gary, we went and saw The Mummy Returns like close to 10 times in theaters. Which objectively, that's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. And it was like you said, that it was the first blockbuster that year going into summer. I think we were out of school, and it was one of those things where we just kept going back, kept seeing it again and again.
Yeah, I do like that series. I think that's I'm not into the Tom Cruise Mummy, but
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I'm just not. I just liked him in Tropic Thunder. That's it. That's all. Wow, that was pretty good. You guys got some good lists. Good lists. Wow, it was a good show.
Good show.
I think and ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other movies, and if you guys go see other movies than what we just said, when you guys see them, let us know and let us know it was good. And because there's a lot of movies I like to watch downstairs because sometimes I just don't like to leave my house. Yeah. So, but before I get out of here, I want to thank everybody who sponsored the Allied Powers Wrestling Show that's coming up here in June. All these sponsors, God bless you. Every single one of them. So I'll be advertising all these guys on all my shows and all my social media. So thank you to the sponsors. Check them out if you're in Indiana County. PB&J's will have tickets. It'll be the only ticket outlet in Indiana County. You can go there. Yucatan Tanning Salons in Indiana. Support that. Shane Brandenburg at Affleck. If you need insurance, attorney Tim Burns. JT's Toys and Collectibles. Main Street Hobby and the Castle. And JP Building and Remodeling. See Jeff Booth. And if you know anybody that has to go into a personal care home, Lynn Haven Personal Care Home in Black Lake, Pennsylvania. And also the Mr. Twitch there. I got a Twitcher, and indiewrestling.us. So I thank you guys all for sponsoring, and I got like 2 months to promote, and tickets are on sale at apwfwrestling.com. And tomorrow night, we'll be giving the lineups of the matches. Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk host Larry Stryker's coming on tomorrow night. We're going to give the matches. We're going to talk a little bit of wrestling. And next Friday night, we're going to be doing the big, giant WrestleMania pay-per-view pick. I probably will get like 2 out of 20. And then we'll see. We'll definitely be on next Thursday night, guys. Well, if these guys can make it, we'll talk about the last episode of Daredevil and any other pop culture topics that we can think of that we can make it interesting. And I don't know what Jason Statham movie's coming out. I know it's the Working
that's
Man.
the Handyman or something. It's
It's
out
the
now.
Working. No, the Working Man's out right now.
Yeah, the Working Man.
Yeah, I got it downstairs, but it's in Spanish, so I got to wait a couple weeks.
Every time I see that movie, it just makes me think of the Rush song.
Working Man. Oh, okay. Well, Cable, thank you as always for coming on. And,
thanks for having me, guys.
Glad we can get you when we can. Shane, thank you as always. I'm sure we'll think of some stuff to do because next week will be a busy week. Let everybody know when you got your West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia show.
We'll do.
When's that coming up? Pretty soon?
It's going to be on Mondays and Thursdays. Usually it's going to be
Okay.
Thursdays at 8, so it'll be before this show.
Okay, yeah, because you can pop on anytime, and that's why I enjoy having you guys on, because the three of us talking, it actually makes more of a better show than it's just me ranting and raving. I mean, sometimes I can rant about stuff I don't like, but still.
Well, my time card for the Triple B and the Steelers Dynasty is usually Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I'll let me know if the schedule changes on the break room.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, hey, guys in the chat room, thank you guys as always. Please hit like and subscribe. We're trying to get we got our subscribers on this channel. We got to get our watch time up. On the Steeler Dynasty show, we got our watch time up, but we need our subscribers up. Yeah, so it's crazy. YouTube's crazy. YouTube is crazy. I wish I could just do a TikTok live and make big money like all those other people do, but that's not the case. So, okay. Thank you guys as always. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you guys tomorrow to talk wrestling. And we will see you guys next week. Same experience time, same experience channel. Oh, I just made that up. That's amazing. Okay, good night, everybody.